Imagine a bold military maneuver that President Donald Trump claims has spared over 100,000 lives by dismantling a drug smuggling network off Venezuela's shores. But how much of this is fact and how much is fiction? Let's dive into the details of this controversial statement and unpack what experts say, step by step, so even newcomers to political fact-checking can follow along easily. This piece is based on an original article from PolitiFact, https://politifact.com/factchecks2025, and we're here to break it down in a way that's straightforward and engaging. Trump made his remarks during an October 15th press conference. The same 15th press conference asked G on a walk at 7:44, asserting that U.S. military strikes on 5 Venezuelan boats have thwarted drug trafficking, effectively saving lives. Every boat that we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives, he explained, acknowledging the human cost. It is rough, but if you lose 3 people and save 25,000 people. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this claim backed by solid evidence, or is it more rhetoric than reality? The Trump administration hasn't provided PolitiFact with any proof that these boats were indeed loaded with drugs. Specialists in drug policy have pointed out to PolitiFact, https://www.politifact.com/article 2025 Sep-2022 Trump Venezuela boat strikes drugs trafficking, that Venezuela doesn't play a major part in smuggling substances that make it to the U.S. shores. And this is the part most people miss. The legality of these strikes is murky at best. Following the initial attack, legal analysts informed PolitiFact, https://www.politifact.com or Sep-8 Venezuelan drug boat U.S. attack legal, that the actions might violate international maritime law or human rights agreements, and they go against traditional U.S. military guidelines. Trump has repeated this 25,000 lives saved figure multiple times, and even floated the idea of extending such operations to land-based targets. Check out this video for more. Trump weighs land strikes in Venezuela following attacks on suspected drug boats, https://www.pbs.org, NewsHour, show Trump weighs land strikes in Venezuela following attacks on suspected drug boats. In an October 5 address to Navy sailors, https://rollcall.com/factbase/Trump, transcript Donald Trump speech, Navy 250th anniversary, USS Truman Norfolk, October 5, 2025, H5. Trump framed these strikes as acts of compassion. Every one of those boats is responsible for the death of 25,000 American people and the destruction of families. So when you think of it that way, what we're doing is actually an act of kindness. He went further in a conversation with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney on October 7. https://rollcall.com/factbase/Trump, transcript Donald Trump remarks, B-Lat, Mark Carney, Canada, October 7, 2025, 84, boasting about a tough stance on drugs. We've taken a very hard stand on drugs, the water drugs. The drugs that come in through water, they're not coming. There are no boats anymore. Frankly, there are no fishing boats. There's no boats out there, period. We've probably saved at least 100,000 lives, American lives, Canadian lives, by taking out those boats. Now, let's address why experts find Trump's assertion problematic. For beginners, it's important to understand that we can't definitively measure how many lives are spared through drug interception efforts. Drug policy specialists have consistently told PolitiFact that such calculations are inherently unreliable. Moreover, if his math held up, the strikes on 5 boats in under 2 months would have prevented nearly twice the annual U.S. overdose fatalities. The administration hasn't disclosed details about the drugs involved or their amounts, making it impossible to tally potential lethal doses. Trump specifically mentioned fentanyl in that October 15th press conference. And you can see it. The boats get hit, and you see that fentanyl all over the ocean. It's like floating in bags. It's all over the place. He's posted videos on Truth Social. https:/truthsocial.com/@realdonaldtrump. Posts 115136798955892. https:/truthsocial.com/11523355544134712. https:/truthsocial.com/115375181222463. But curiously, no drug bags appear in any of them. And here's another layer to consider. Most illegal fentanyl reaching the U.S. originates from Mexico. https://www.ran.org, content dam ran.pubs, external publications, EP68838, randip68838.pdf, not Venezuela. It primarily crosses the southern border through official entry points, often carried by U.S. citizens, as noted by the U.S. Sentencing Commission. That www.ussec.gov/sites.default/pdf fentanyl FY24.pdf. But let's say there was fentanyl on board. Trump's logic still doesn't add up mathematically. Even if each boat held 25,000 fatal doses, blowing them up wouldn't guarantee saving 125,000 lives. To clarify, for those unfamiliar, drug supply chains are resilient. When shipments are seized, traffickers often replenish the lost stock. As Jonathan Calkins, a drug policy expert at Carnegie Mellon University, explained to PolitiFact, https://website politifact.com, fact checks, 2025, May 01, Pam Bondi Trump fentanyl seizures overdose. Plus, overdose deaths have been dropping for the last few years, even before these Venezuelan strikes began, according to preliminary data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The CDC tallied over 73,000 drug overdose deaths from May 2024 to April 2025. Website cdc.gov/NCHS/NVSS drug overdose data. That means the substances on those 5 boats would need to account for 125,000 fatalities, almost double the year's total, which seems far-fetched. And this is a crucial point that sparks debate. Data on intercepted drugs doesn't translate directly to lives spared. Trump isn't the only one making such claims. We've fact-checked similar statements from other politicians. https://www.politifact.com/factchecks 2025 May/01/Pam Bondi Trump fentanyl seizures overdose. https://www.politifact.com/factchecks 2019 Mar/06 Carol Miller. Would one fentanyl seizure be able to kill every West? https://www.politifact.com/factchecks 2022/April 27 Claudia Tenney. Can fentanyl seized border kill American Sev, who links seized amounts of fentanyl, the top driver of U.S. overdose deaths? https://www.gayo.gov/blog. Fentanyl continues be leading cause overdose deaths. What's being done combat trafficking United States to saved lives? They typically use the opioid's lethal dose of about 2 milligrams. Seizing 10 milligrams, for instance, would theoretically prevent 5 deaths. But experts caution that dosage effects vary by factors like body size, weight, and prior exposure, and seizure stats don't capture what slips through undetected. We don't have any method I'm aware of for translating drug seizure data into any measure of overdose deaths averted. Aline Kennedy Hendricks, a health policy specialist at Johns Hopkins University, told PolitiFact. https://www.politifact.com fact checks 2025 May 01 Pam Bondi fentanyl seizures overdose. Earlier this year. In summary, on the Venezuelan boat strikes, Trump declared every boat that we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives. While he insists the vessels were transporting drugs bound for the U.S., drug and Venezuela experts, consulted by PolitiFact, emphasize the nation's minor involvement in such trade. No proof of drug types or quantities has been offered, leaving us unable to estimate destroyed lethal doses. Even assuming 25,000 per boat, that wouldn't equate to 125,000 lives saved, especially when annual overdose deaths stand at around 73,000. Intercepted drug volumes don't reliably predict prevented deaths. We rate this statement pants on fire. A free press is essential for a thriving democracy. Back reliable journalism and open conversations. What do you think? Do you agree that these strikes were justified, even without clear evidence of drugs? Or is this an overreach that raises ethical concerns? Some might argue it's a necessary tough stance on a deadly epidemic, while others see it as potentially illegal and ineffective. Share your views in the comments. Do you side with Trump's act of kindness narrative, or do you think it overlooks bigger issues like root causes of drug addiction? Let's discuss.